right, I'll call you back after. Okay, I'll speak to you in a bit. All right, goodbye. Okay. All right, so went away and had a bit of a think last night.
Oh,
And,
yeah, you called me last night. Yeah, I was fucking cooked.
Yeah.
Wait, how long were you awake yesterday?
Normal amount.
Oh, okay.
So I thought about obviously the assistant chief Peters, the interim position, everything, which, you know what, I was on board to try, but then trust me, okay, I for me to forget this is pretty bad, obviously, but there's been a lot going on. I remembered that there is an investigation with Peters at the moment
Is this
into
this about the what is it called? The where you tase and shoot somebody? What is it called?
No, it's not that one. The one where he called it warlording, not that one, no.
Oh. Well, what did he
This
do?
is an additional one. Where he randomly decided to talk to a female civilian who happened to be stood at a corner, and then make claims that she was a prostitute and made some unsavory comments.
Oh.
About her being a prostitute when she wasn't. So it's being looked into by BCSO.
Okay.
But there are people saying, you know, obviously if he's admitted to it and stuff like that, there may be the possibility that he ends up fired. So I don't think it's going to look too good if I bump him up at this time. I'm not opposed to doing it at a later
was there a
date.
witness? Like, did it happen? Like, you know?
I understand that. It's all going to depend on what he said in the situation. Yeah. From what I've read so far, he's not denying it.
Okay. I'm gonna look into that matter separately as well.
Okay.
But look, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, Vivian. Without someone in shift 2, I'm not doing anything.
No, so, I understand.
Because the thing is, like, you know, I had a long conversation with my own staff, and you know, I had to remind them of something, and it is as follows. My job is to represent the people that voted me in. It's not to represent, and the PD is one of many priorities. The PD is a function of the future, right? I am not the commissioner, right? The Los Santos Police Department needs to be set with a plan aimed to serve and protect the county. And without someone that we have in shift 2, we might as well just wait for the next July 3. You know what I mean?
No, I
and
agree.
So, yeah.
It's not like I've just like completely noped this idea. I have, you know, come up with
I know. But I'm not blaming you for it by any means, Vivian. I think you're equally, I'm sure, searching and thinking about what can possibly be done. But,
well, see, okay, so I'm willing, like, obviously, if something is done about whatever's going on with this investigation, whatever they decide to do, I'm willing to revisit Peters, like, in a few weeks. It just doesn't make sense for me to put... okay, so I'm advocating PD's relationship with the general public to get away from this whole cops versus crims thing, for people to be treated like humans, for people to be seen better overall.
Agreed.
And it just doesn't make sense for while someone's being investigated for that, or even if they're found, you know, they're disciplined for it, to immediately then put them into a high command position without people calling into question what I'm doing. Because as much as obviously you're suggesting to me to do that, ultimately
I
the responsibility would fall to me.
Okay.
So I have been thinking about it.
That's crazy. I'm still kind of like, wow, that's a fucking wrench in the fucking wheel.
Yeah.
I was telling Sky this earlier, is like, you know, it's so dramatically shocking to me that no one wants to take charge of shift 2.
Yeah.
And with all due respect, and like, you know, shift 1 is gonna not change. Shift 3 is not gonna change.
Yeah.
It's gonna keep on ticking.
Mm-hmm.
Shift 2 is where the disaster is.
Yeah.
And
So I'm actually not surprised people don't want that for Shift 2. Um, so I kind of did think I've only really got two options to visit for Shift 2, and that is sticking with Ruby for the time being,
no,
like a interim thing,
yeah, no, yeah.
or that is McNulty. And I am aware that
Mm-mm.
McNulty, no,
I'll tell you why. Ruby was a part of the problem. She is the reason she started the ball rolling towards a constitutional change. She doesn't probably realize that, and I think most people don't realize it either. But you know, a lot of that started because she stood. I invited her down to find a middle ground as we wrote legislation that was going to go to the desk of the city council. And she stood there giving not a single fuck about anyone's rights and told me, well, we don't even need to give you guys FOIAs. So that told me everything. She equally, with her BFF Frost, didn't give a shit about my client dying in the cells, but instead was more concerned about what was going to happen to the PD if it got exposed. So, you know, while she might do paperwork and all that, she's literally diametrically opposed to why I was voted in. As for McNulty, my concern really comes down to when I've asked him 3 times to take the position. And those 3 times, he's just like, not interested. And so putting someone uninterested in that place just seems backwards.
do you think
You
he
know,
would be more interested if he knew it was a temporary thing, like an interim thing?
I don't think so. If his heart's not there, what's the point? Now, have you considered looking outward? It's part of why I brought Liam's name up originally, but seeing that he hasn't been around, that's enough for me to say throw him in the bin,
that's
right?
a lot of
I was really
kind of a lot
hoping
of
for that. I was really he brings a lot of,
I know.
um,
It's not just him though. There's other people that do the same thing.
yeah.
Outwards in terms of outside of law enforcement altogether.
It could literally
Or
be anybody that's got some level of experience, right? I mean, back in the day, people, you know, like, they don't got to drive and shoot even. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
it could be from BCSO. Maybe we just hire Sozig. I'm only kidding. That's not a good idea.
Well, I mean, I am sort of thinking about obviously who in BCSO could be interested in that, and then also who in Marshals could be interested in it. You know?
Yeah. That is really the only thing that I cannot give in on, because I might as well have not ran to begin with. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. I agree. I don't want to rule out Peters because obviously in the long run, I think Peters could be decent.
I can tell you right now that he is the kind of guy that will. I have a strong feeling he is the kind of guy that absolutely has probably been doing the most bozo shit. And transparently, knowing this PD, with all due respect, I hope don't take this the wrong way, with a lot of cops just knowing you're the next chief, which is already fucking disgusting in a whole nother manner, have openly been referring to him as Gunner. And, so when there's certain things that come up, I part of me just doesn't give a shit because
Right.
some of those individuals shouldn't even be in the PD to begin with. Now, um, you know, I, I'm just being honest with you, Viv.
Yeah.
You know, if this was a like 15, 20 man active police force, there'd be levels I'd care about because the structure would be there, et cetera, et cetera. But this is like a dying department, right?
Yeah.
And,
No, I agree.
and,
Listen, Peters, I think, like, you know, a few weeks from now could be revisited. I'm not willing to back down on what I've been preaching for the past few months and what I've tried to build for Shift One, and then all of a sudden I'm appointing someone who has said that they did accuse someone of being a prostitute,
yeah,
and make some comments. I can't just put them straight there. There's
n-
got to be some sort of,
well,
what if
how do we know how truthful this is and how
well,
serious this is,
okay.
right? Because
Well,
at face value, it sounds bad, but let me
yeah.
put it this way: is this like Slacks fucking around with Mr. K, or is this like you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know. So as far as I'm aware, they do not know each other. Um, let me find it. 1 second. Okay, I found it. All right. So basically, the person putting in the complaint was in Mirror Park. When a police officer, and then they just gave a description, which everybody
Man,
like
that
immediately was
sucks.
like, that sounds like they're referring to Peters. Um, she was apparently riding her ATV. She got pulled over, so she was in a traffic stop, right? Deputy said there are people slinging weed around here. You need to be careful. And it's like, fair enough. Um, he asked for a name. She says a name, and then he reacted like he knew her. Um, but then she was like, "I'm not the Goldie you think I am. I do know there is another Goldie, and she is an officer, though." And then the deputy said, "I've been seeing you on the corner. I really hope your clients protect themselves and wrap it up before things happen." The
That's
deputy
bad.
then told
That is.
Goldie that she was a sex worker, and Goldie kept saying she wasn't. She said that she wasn't even wearing
Wait,
anything.
Gunna said Goldie the officer was?
No, Peters said, no, this is a different Goldie. At first, this Goldie thought Peters was confusing her with the officer Goldie because he acted like he knew her. And then he started accusing her of being a prostitute and saying that he'd seen her on the corner.
See,
She
even
said
you're doing it.
no.
You said Gunna.
You did. No, you did.
I think you did as
Don't
well.
you don't you tell. I didn't. Did I?
Yeah. I'm really good at gaslighting. I actually don't know. Yeah.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
Okay. So apparently the deputy kept making comments to Goldie that people need to wear protection before they do
Yeah,
things.
I know.
All right. I don't know if this is related, but Peters has told me, you know, he's expecting a baby. I'm wondering if that was on his mind at the time. He said when he was questioned, he stated that he did remember the interaction. He claimed that she was scantily clad and that he approached her not as a critic or as a judgmental sort, but as an ally. He claims
Oh.
that his mother was a sex worker
Oh.
and that he values the profession and was earnestly attempting to express his support to the individual based on the assumption that she was involved in that
This
profession.
guy's a fucking saint.
He claims there was no sarcasm or tongue-in-cheek treatment.
I'd like to understand the level of severity of this case instead of looking at it face value, because and how much the victim actually is concerned versus did she make a complaint?
Yeah.
Okay.
She was the one that came forward with this.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. How do I put this? The reason I bring this up is because I don't know how to put this in words. The fact that this is being handled this way makes me less concerned.
Well, BCSO High Command and Command have both stated that
I mean, it's being role played out. Like, if this is actually serious, this would be an admin complaint. I don't know what to tell you.
Change in the story. I'm just waiting on an actual freaking answer because High Command for BCSO are currently off. I believe Cassidy is back tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting on a decision, essentially.
All right.
But there are quite a few people who are aware of this incident. And obviously it just depends on whether they find any wrongdoing with it or not.
Yeah. You understand what I mean, right? With the previous comment?
I'll say it again.
The fact that this is being handled by the PD and not a higher authority makes me kind of think this might not be, you know.
I'm aware.
Okay. I'm gonna have a. I'm gonna poke him as well. I think right now, I need you to help me cook, because, like I said, as far as my calculus is concerned, without a strong candidate for shift 2, I don't really know what changing anything does, transparently.
Okay. I might have a conversation with some marshals. Because actually, I don't see an issue with potentially someone from marshals as an interim.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's actually a good route to go.
I mean, I flew in like 8 PD members over the last week.
Yeah.
They're out there. I mean, even Turner was considering.
Yeah.
How's your relationship with Turner? Oh, shit.
Turner, I never really saw him. I think, like, I worked with him probably 2 or 3 times.
I gotcha. Who else? Obviously, Liam's kind of off the table, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm gonna let you cook, but
okay. I'm gonna go away and have a look at the roster and look at my contacts and see what I can pull together. Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
But yeah, I wanted to give you the heads up on that because I don't want to be like okay with it and then at last minute bring this up.
No, that's good, because if that gets appointed and this guy's like going around like fucking.
I mean, it might amount to nothing, right? I just need to make sure that there's definitely a decision before anything happens. So.
What you're doing is exactly what I want to see going forward, because at the end of the day, these are your, like, you know, it's your department, but, you know, if I'm not aware of it, what, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God damn it.
Okay.
Where the fuck did the PD go?
I don't know. I know Shift 2 had a lot of interviews yesterday, actually, and there's some promising people in there, some people with a lot of experience. Wait, is the way out this way?
Already, but it's cool.
Yep, that's one of the ways out.
Maybe sometime next week.
Did Den do something in the last 24 hours?
I'm not aware of, no.
Okay. He just, he wanted to chat with me, so normally, you know, that's what I got
told yesterday that Barrick told him that I'm going to be chief. That might be it.
Yeah, I'm not, I'm not very happy with that, and I told my, look, I'm just going to say it, like, Miguel Elmarian told Barrick, and everyone's just like, oh yeah, that's it. Fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I listen. I just fucking light meta, bro, throughout the PD. Like I ain't play. Listen, bro.